Good morning, Grace Center. I am going to be talking to you about honor today. And I know that as a church culture, we talk a lot about creating a culture of honor and honoring people really well. And a lot of times we do this by calling out the gold in them and asking for the Lord's perspective and having a kingdom perspective about the person in front of us. But today I wanted to talk about how sometimes honoring someone looks like forgiving them even when we don't feel like they deserve it, or if we feel like they have wronged us, or we feel justified in holding on to any kind of offense taken. So recently in Grace Kids, we have started a series on honor, character, and integrity. And for 2 weeks now, we've really dove into the word honor and what that means and practically what it looks like to really put that word into practice for the people in front of us and the people that we come in contact with. So as coupled with this, we've been going through the Bible, and the story that we happened to land on when we started this series was actually the story of Joseph. And I don't think that was by chance. I think that was a divine setup, because I realized that as I was diving into the story of Joseph, that Joseph had every right to be offended. He had every right to hold on to offense, to lash out in anger, to be bitter, we could even say that he was completely justified, or could have been justified, in any kind of anger or malicious thought that he might have had, because he literally did nothing wrong. Joseph was a man who was sold into slavery by his brothers, and then sold again to Potiphar. And then he was accused of a malicious crime that he did not commit, and he went to prison. And then he showed kindness to two of Pharaoh's house servants, a cupbearer and a baker, and he showed kindness to them and interpreted a dream and he told the cupbearer, "When you are restored to Pharaoh's palace, don't forget about me." And the cupbearer forgot about him. And as I was reading this story, I was talking to the Lord about, I wondered why the favor of the Lord was with Joseph so much. Because even though Joseph was wronged in all of these ways, and people lied about him, and he was sold, and he was forgotten about, he still continued to be placed in super high positions of authority. He continued to have favor with the Lord. And I wondered if it was because Joseph postured his heart in forgiveness, and he postured his heart to be a servant and to be kind and to love really well. I realize that the end of the story with Joseph is incredible. The Lord continued to show Joseph favor, and it ended up turning out that Joseph saved an entire nation of people from famine. And so as I was talking about with the Lord and writing out thoughts, the Lord led me to Mark 11:25 through 26, and this is in the Passion Translation. And it says, "Whenever you stand praying, if you find that you carry something in your heart against another person, release him and forgive him, so that your Father in heaven will also release you and forgive you of your faults. But if you will not release forgiveness, don't expect the Father in heaven to release you from your misdeeds." I felt like the Lord is asking us to be a people who choose to forgive first. He says, literally, release him and forgive him. So my challenge to you is there someone that you need to release, to forgive? I know that I have literally had to do this in the last month. Release and forgive. And the freedom that I have felt and the peace that I have felt that passes understanding has just abounded. I hope today that you are encouraged and that you walk in the freedom that the Father has for you. I hope that you are encouraged to forgive today. to walk in the freedom that the Father has for you. Forgiveness is life, and it is choosing to give honor to another and to love them unconditionally. I love you, Grace Center, and I hope today you are encouraged to walk in the freedom that the Lord so freely gives. Bye-bye.